Today we're going over the Floral's banner in Fire Emblem Heroes. To start off the next year of Fae, we have engage-themed Valentines ults for Celine, Hortensia, and dual Veyle plus Alear. Louis will be the newcomer into Fae. We'll talk about everyone's stats and skills, plus discuss some build ideas. Louis will be the 4-star focus unit, so you can get him at 4 or 5-star rarity. Valentines Louis will be the first red armored archer in the game. For stats, Louis got 50 HP, 47 attack, 16 speed, 49 defense, and 45 res. Louis has a defense super boom, to no surprise. It was almost impossible for the guy to die and engage with physical attacks, and thanks to Fae armor stat lines, Louis got some serious res as well. He is a classic min-max slow armor unit. Now, for old skills, Louis got Ignis as a special plus defense and res for save 3. Louis' rare skill will be Slick Fighter 4, which is pretty nice. Last year we did get the regular male Grima with Slick Fighter 3 in that demo pool. For his inheritable weapon, Louis has the Bow of Love Plus. At start of either phase, grants plus 6 attack and defense, low, and breath type cooldown statuses to user and allies within 2 spaces. This weapon grants plus 5 stats in combat, 20 true damage, and 10 flat damage reduction. Bow of Love is a very straightforward weapon. You got attack and defense field buffs, enemy field buff neutralization, and cooldown support. We then have the Book 10 weapon staples of lots of true damage and flat DR just for free. Armored archers are very rare, and like the other ranged armors, they kind of just suffer from lack of new units, also meaning lack of new modern skills. Louis does have some fun new options, but most likely he'll be a typical enemy phase savior. His general base kit can charge Ignis in 2 actions, then proc it with Slick Fighter's follow-up, but Louis is going to get doubled before that happens. Now, even if you use Armored Specials or Flame Wall, Louis is not going to get their damage reduction for the first attacks unless the foe's got his special ready. In case that happens, he can't have it ready for the follow-up attack though, so if Louis can take a regular first hit, then the 40% DR specials will kick in later. You can also use Twin Save in case the enemy attack does trigger the percent DR on the first hit. Louis will combine the unpierceable percent DR with Bow of Love and Slick Fighter's flat DR. In addition, Bow of Love and Slick Fighter neutralize enemy field buffs and Louis debuffs. He's going to have consistent stats in each fight. Now if you want guaranteed 40% DR, then Louis can use Arch Rival, Comet, or the brand new Waning Shot. Waning Shot has the same damage as Ignis, but you kind of want to go for a one-shot counterattack because these 3 specials do not grant percent DR for follow-up attacks. To help charge Waning Shot with Bow of Love, you can use Counter Fighter. This also works with Arcane Hex Bows, Sling plus Preamp Pulse. Hardy Baron can also ensure no desperation shenanigans happens before Louis fires back. For an alternative, you can use Hex Bow with Slick Fighter and then slot in Special Fighter in the Sacred Seal slot. For other B skills, there's Assault Fighter for DR Piercing or Pair Up for extra flat DR. For A skills, Louis can get HP via Earthfire Boost from the Valentine's Ephraim refinement this month. Otherwise, the Luvia Boost is the stronger option. From Squad Assault, we have Squad Ace CX, which grants plus 6 HP and plus 4 attack and defense. You can also do something like Distant Defense 4 or Close Counter. Now if you really want to spice things up, ranged armors can use Strat Assault to gain access to Charge. The extra mobility plus Bow of Love's breath type cooldown plus Waning Shot or Drive or Comet could be pretty fun. The old days of Brave Bow Bold Fighter armor archers was an interesting time. All in all, Louis is fine if you want to try something different, but ranged armors have mostly been overshadowed by melee armors with distant counter, even for far save. They don't really have as many skills to differentiate from their higher BSD counterparts with better skill options. Our first 5-star unit is Valentines Celine. Al forgot his first alt, so I guess another 3 more for the younger princess. This time, Celine's a Blue Mage Cavalier with 34 HP, 42 attack, 48 speed, 13 defense, and 47 res. Celine has decent speed and res with okay attack, but my god is that physical bulk impressively bad. Now, the recent loot was pretty low, but Celine's got even less defense and way less defensive perks, so good luck tanking anything physical. Maybe she'll survive with an HP super boon, but you'll probably want to take that speed super boon or even a res boon instead. For old skills, Celine has Magic Light for DR Piercing Luna, and then she has Attack and Speed Aria to get some extra true damage when that does trigger. For her weapon, Celine has the Gift of Love. After start of turn effects trigger on either phase, Celine neutralizes stat debuffs and cleanses 2 negative statuses from allies within 3 spaces. For Celine and allies within 3 rows or columns, Celine gains plus 15 stats in combat while allies get plus 5. Everyone will get no follow-up if they have higher speed than the enemy. For selfish perks, Celine gets Kanto Distance with a max of 3 and minimum of 1. She has plus 5 Phantom Res for stat comparing and accelerated specials. Celine deals 25 true damage, and if decreasing the speed roll by 10 would trigger a follow-up attack, then Celine will get a 100% potent follow-up hit. Last, she gets Desperation when initiating to make a follow-up attack before the foe can counter. Gift of Love once again gives Celine her 3 space penalty cleanse like her ninja ult. This time, she tacks on long range plus 5 stats and a follow-up support. Celine's main combat gameplay focuses around outspeeding to get the 100% potent hit. With Desperation, she will attack 3 times in a row, and hopefully that's enough because there's no flat DR or percent DR anywhere in this kit. Celine has 2 new inheritable passive skill lines. Her Phantom Res effect will be used for both. Speed and Res Detect Aerial is interesting. For foes on the map with less flat res than the user, in their combat, they lose -5 stats, lose their Speed and Res field boss, and take 10 true damage. The user of this skill gets another -4 speed and res and 8 true damage in combat. Detect Aerial is a strange name. It's usable by ranged cavaliers and flyers, minus healers, plus it upgrades auto speed and res snag 3. This is kinda like a Detect side grade, but you no longer need to use an assist skill. This is essentially another flat res comparing skill, and if you win the check, you kinda just get low speed and res with 10 true damage. The user will also be able to stack these effects for -9 speed and res, buff neutralization, and 18 true damage for themselves. Celine's C skill is Truly Inspired. At start of either phase, grants Truly Incited for 1 turn, and if any foes within 3 rows or columns don't have more than 5 res than the user, they get inflicted with Ploy and Exposure. The user of the skill also gets +4 attack and res in combat. Truly Incited was introduced last month on Alear and Mia. It's a power creeped incited status that works on either phase and has double the amount of stats based on movement. Truly Inspired is usable by infantry and cavaliers and builds out of rouse attack and res. It is a combination of ploy and incited skills. Please keep in mind, Truly Incited only goes to the user. This is not a team-wide buff. Valentines Celine has a variety of support effects. Her 3-space cleanse is nice, and she can add no follow-up from long range. Also from long range, Celine can inflict Ploy and Exposure. From literally anywhere on the map, she can inflict low speed and res with 10 true damage. With Exposure, that's 20 true damage for anyone on the team. Now Detect Aerial and Truly Inspired use flat res checks, but Celine also wants speed for her own combat. You can run Still or Crystalline Water, but otherwise, she's only getting the +5 Phantom Res from her weapon. Now if you wanted to keep these support aspects but not depend on res, then Celine could use Shackle or Favor in the B slot. For more straightforward team buffs, you can also run Hone Assault, Hone Insights, or Liberate. As for personal combat, Celine wants to outspeed to get her 100% potent hit, and then use Desperation to attack 3 times in a row. This will trigger Slaying Magic Light on the 3rd hit, and Aria attacks on 10 true damage. Now if you want to spice things up, Celine could use Logic, but she'll need cooldown from say Conjuring Breath. She could also use Ice Wall or Frost Moon. While percent DR specials are nice, Celine has no flat DR in her base kit. Also, if you run into any physical damage, chances are she's not surviving anyway. As such, Hardy Bearing is definitely a major issue for Celine. Guess what ability Winter Alfred gives to his teammates? I guess Big Brother came prepared. All in all, Valentine's Celine can output some okay damage if she isn't disturbed, but she does focus more on her supportive aspects. The 3-space cleanse is great, even if it's only 2 statuses, and her new passives tack on long range debuffing. Just need to win those res checks. Our 3rd unit is a fun one. Valentines Hortensia is an armored healer, only the 4th one ever in the game, and first since our freebie, Valentines Lissa. If you wanted to have some fun, Lissa could get some incredible new toys as of late, but Hortensia is going to set a pretty high bar for what a proper 5-star limited armored healer can do. For stats, Hortensia's got 40 HP, 45 attack, 48 speed, 21 defense, and 48 res. She has great speed and res but low defense, but that will not matter ideally. One of the faster armors in the game is a healer, Now for out skills, Hortensia will further turn up the speed with Torrential Boost for HP and stats. She then has Pair Up 4, Tough for the double, more true damage, and some flat DR. Hortensia's Sweet Staff states, at start of either phase, grant low, the status that increases the speed roll for doubling by +10, and a Kanto 1 status to allies within 2 spaces. Hortensia gets Wrathful Staff to deal full damage, and she has Slaying. She gets +15 stats, 25 true damage, and the healer gets 15 Excel type flat DR. She also heals 7 HP when attacking, and last, she gets -2 instant cooldown before the foe's first attack. Sweet Staff continues the low trend, and Hortensia continues her Kanto support while making her team tough for the double. She gets all the Book 10 weapon perks, along with Excel flat DR and Legu's Friend cooldown. For her unique C skill, Hortensia has huge personality. For Hortensia and allies within 3 spaces, grant +5 stats, 7 flat DR, no guard, and 40% damage reflection. For Hortensia herself, she can trigger Magic Savior on allies within 2 spaces. She disables adaptive damage, neutralizes enemy field buffs, and gets full enough follow-up effects. First off, great long-range support perks, no guard, and damage reflection is a lot of fun. Meanwhile, Hortensia is not shying away from combat. She will fly in to use magic save herself. To ensure dragons don't roast her poor defense, she disables adaptive damage. No follow-up is great with all her speed, and finally, Hortensia has the low effect again. I mean, technically the status can be lost, but the C-skill ensures no enemy field buffs will be in play anyway. Now, to complement her magic save, Hortensia has a new inheritable healer assist skill. Guardian Plus is a 2-range heal that heals her 50% attack. It also grants the ally plus 6 speed, defense, and res, along with fringe bonus. If no ally on the map has physical twin save, Guardian Plus gives the ally physical twin save itself. This is another healer rally assist skill that does not charge specials when used. So basically, Guardian Plus allows a healer to give physical twin save to anyone. At the same time, you will buff them with almost full field buffs and fringe bonus to double up. Do take note, Guardian Plus does not have an extra action like Ice Lock or Magic Shield. It probably won't replace the Ice Lock plus Lin Ring shenanigans, but if you want to tank it up, then you don't necessarily need an armor unit to get physical save. For her last inheritable skill, Hortensia has Deluge Charm. If you missed the news, Legendary Elise introduced a new 5 cooldown healer special. It has 70% attack scaling and guaranteed 40% damage reduction for first attacks. Deluge Charm is exactly the same as Windfire Charm, just that instead of granting attack and speed liberate, it grants speed and res liberate to allies within 2 spaces. Hortensia's staff grants 2 statuses, so that's an easy plus 8 speed and res via liberate in combat. We can confirm that Charm builds out of the bomb specials, so it's fairly easy to inherit as well. I joked about making a Valentines Louis build with Arcane Latona plus Windfire Charm, and then the very next banner we get a brand new armored healer to utilize these crazy 40% DR healer specials. Not only that, but Hortensia comes with her own savior skill, and technically with the damage reflection part she kinda has magic prior save. For other perks, Hortensia has good speed with no follow-up, and with pair up she will add plus 20 to the speed roll for doubling. Deluge Charm has 40% guaranteed unpierceable DR, and Sweet Staff plus pair up plus huge personality add a bunch of flat DR. Now if Hortensia can double after getting attacked, she will trigger Deluge Charm thanks to her slaying, Lagu's friend cooldown, and no guard. We can then add one more hilarious trait to this unit. Thanks to the Tempest trials, we finally got a close kind of sacred seal called Close Transcend. Unfortunately, it is only for magical units, and Hortensia would mainly only use it to fight dragons, but it's there if you want it. Now, for sustain, Hortensia heals 7 HP on hit and 7 HP after combat. If you want more health, you could use Squad A's Sacred Seal, or perhaps a Deflect Seal if you really need to weather a brave attacker. For other skills, honestly, I wouldn't really change anything at this point. You could run something like Aria for more true damage, or Counter Fighter for instant Deluge Charm counterattack. If you want to neutralize penalties, you can run Slick Fighter as a seal, or technically in the Beast Knot, but Hortensia's entire thing is trying to not get doubled by fast foes, so I would keep pair up. For support, you could use the new Preamp Amplify, but that will lower her physical tanking power. To help cover her physical matchups, Guardian Plus can give physical twin save, but with her armor mobility, there's still a chance an enemy gets to Hortensia if she's not in formation. If you can help her get around, then that would definitely help with this physical plus magical savior setup. Overall, very fun kit on a very rare unit type. I wouldn't bank on Hortensia taking everything, because typically ranged armors have not done that well in this game, but Hortensia does offer a lot of other perks, including Guardian Plus's ability to give savior to anyone. Regardless of how she turns out, it's just hilarious that the healers are getting damage reduction and are turning into savior units. Last unit for today is duo Valentines Veyle and Alear. These two combine for some very rare effects together to give to the team. For this ult, Veyle is a green mage cavalier, so she completes the all colors team. For stats, Veyle has 40 HP, 49 attack, 30 speed, 17 defense, and 49 res. Pretty typical high attack and res with low defense stat spread, and Veyle has super boons and her best stats. She would like extra res for some of her effects. For ult skills, Veyle's got Ice Wall as her special. She also has attack and res Aria to empower it with more true damage. For their weapon, the sisters have Draconic Bond. At start of either phase, grant plus 6 attack and res, Veyle Spirit, and Breath type cooldown to allies within 2 spaces. Veyle has plus 5 Phantom res with Slaying. She gets plus 15 stats in combat, deals 25 true damage, and has 15 flat DR. Veyle then gets no guard, and if she or the enemy is engaged, or Veyle has higher res, then Veyle gets brave attacks. Veyle Spirit is from last year's Fallen Alear's, and it's a great status that inflicts -6 stats if someone has an emblem ring. It also provides Nelsie Disrupt and 20% DR, so it's a really strong defensive status. As for Veyle herself, she gets brave hits by winning a res check, or if anyone has an emblem ring. If you give her an emblem ring, then you won't have to deal with stat checks, although Veyle does want to out-res enemies anyway. Regardless of how you get it, with Sling, Protect cooldown, and no guard, Veyle is going to dish out some specials very fast. From her unique C skill, Veyle Refuge, Veyle grants buffs to allies within 3 rows or columns. Everyone gets +5 stats, 7 true damage and flat DR. Last, Veyle retains her Scowl support ability. If she has 5 or more res than the enemy and the foe uses an offensive special, then Veyle inflicts +1 cooldown before the foe's first attack. Veyle also scowls the foe's first follow-up attack, and unlike past ults, this effect works on melee foes now. For personal effects, Veyle's got Kanto Distance with a max of 3, minimum of 1. She disables adaptive damage to fight dragons. Veyle has 40% regular damage reduction for all attacks. She then gets pre-impulses -1 instant cooldown before attacking, and last she has 50% DR piercing. Veyle Refuge buffs Veyle's Scout support once again. The range works across the entire map, which is cool, and the follow-up part affects melee foes. You toss in stats, true damage, and flat DR for a very nice buff assortment. For even more support, Veyle and Alear's dual skill grants Divinely Inspiring, Reflex, and a free follow-up status to allies within 3 spaces. Divinely Inspiring comes from the Winter dual Alears. It grants stats, on-hit healing, and Laguz for an instant cooldown based on how many allies have the status, so be sure Veyle is near her team. You also need to be within 3 spaces, and Veyle can give up to -2 Laguz for any cooldown max. With her Scout support, Fel Spirit's 20% DR effect, and Divinely Inspiring, Veyle can really help out anyone who's using the % DR specials that only work one time and need specials to be ready. She also provides the all-powerful Reflex status for damage reflection, quite a lot of fun effects to hand out. Actually, there is more help to give friends in the form of Attack and Res Detect Aerial. Just like Celine's speed skill, this is the Attack and Res variant, exact same effects, just trading speed and res debuffs for Attack and Res debuffs. Unfortunately, it is much harder to get Attack and Res Snag 3 to inherit this skill. It is only on Thief Kath and Young Leo, so good luck getting that. Let's bring everything together. Veyle and Alear have a wide variety of support perks, including Veyle's signature Scout support that works on follow-ups. She grants Attack and Res buffs, +5 stats in combat, Protect cooldown, 7 true damage and flat DR. You can add to that with Fel Spirit's debuffs, Nelsie Disrupt, and 20% DR perks. Via Detect Aerial, Veyle can add 10 true damage along with low attack and res. Now, if you can use the dual skill, Divinely Inspiring adds more stats, Laguz for an instant cooldown and on-hit healing. It also provides Reflex and a free follow-up. Similar to Celine, you could run Shackle or Favor instead of Detect Aerial, but Veyle wants high flat res for her Scowl effect. Veyle doesn't need speed as much as Celine, so Crystalline and Still Water are more enticing options. As for Veyle's personal combat, her game plan is to out-res for Brave Hits, or just give her an Emblem Ring. Veyle has so much cooldown perks that unless the Veyle has defensive tempo, she will proc Ice Wall on her second Brave hit. From her base kit, Veyle can get a casual 50 true damage per hit, 59 for the Ice Wall proc thanks to Aria. Now, should the foe survive, Veyle's defensive game plan is that Ice Wall's 40% unpierceable DR will stack with the regular 40% DR, and then you got 22 flat damage reduction. Fel Spirit can proc the damage reduction again if Veyle gets doubled. The Fel also has to deal with Scowl. Now for other skills, Veyle could run Slime Mirror for quad potential without using her dual skill. She could also run Conjuring Breath if you want anti-healing, but she already does have Breath to cooldown. Veyle's enemy phase game plan isn't as solid since even with Divinely Inspiring, she's not going to pre-charge Ice Wall. She has her regular 40% DR and Scowl, which maybe could be enough. For specials, Ice Wall is generally fine to keep. Technically, Khaleesi's does more damage. Logic can give % DR on all hits taken, but Veyle already has Fel Spirit to cover 2 hits with Ice Wall. Also, Logic is player phase only, and if you want its cooldown effects, you need penalties, which Veyle does not inflict with this kit. In conclusion, Veyle does have some really good defensive perks for allies, although she herself kinda just wants to initiate first like any Mage Cavalier. Legendary Female Alear and Mythic Veyle are both going into the remix pool, so maybe we'll see some of this dual ults effects in their upgrades. The ongoing Tempest Trials is offering Valentines Takumi. He's a blue armored mage who focuses on speed. If you outspeed, Takumi gets 30% DR and heals 7 HP on hit. If you outspeed by 5 and the foe is red, Takumi can inflict Scowl. Takumi's general idea is to use attack and speed far save to swoop in, then stack 30% DR with Savvy Fighter's 30% damage reduction. He also gets now follow-up plus Swiss Stance can offer extra speed and res with guard. Now, Takumi is not going to do that well with his current weapon, and ranged armors have struggled to outdo melee armors with distant counter. He can at least use Comet for unpierceable % DR if you want to go a savior route, or you could use Strat Assault for a more mobile playstyle. There is also the new Close Transcend Sacred Seal for fun. Unfortunately, Takumi's fodder is not that great. Switch Stance 3 is very outdated, and the last time we got an attack and speed saver skill was attack and speed fire save 3 itself. That means you can't even use it to bridge to a new Twin, Briar, Physical, or Magical save skill because there hasn't been any attack and speed variants. As for Savvy Fighter, at least its upgraded Clever Fighter is kinda interesting, but it now competes with Pair Up if you want to be tougher to double. It lacks no follow-up, but Pair Up adds true damage, more flat DR, and neutralizes debuffs. Onto the Sacred Seals, we have 2 new phases this time. Low attack and res 3 is here to complement the heavy low field buff neutralizing banner, -3 attack and res with neutralizing attack and res buffs on the enemy during combat. Low is a very old skill by now, but this is the first Sacred Seal version. We technically have had Close Dull, which neutralizes all field buffs, but that only works against melee units, and the low B skills are more specialized with -3 stat debuffs. If you only care about negating 2 stats, then this Sacred Seal is fine. It's not exactly a rare ability nowadays, but maybe you can find a spot for it in a build. Next, Close Transcend is the first close counter Sacred Seal. It only works for mages and healers, but it lets them fight back against melee attackers. This is a neat Sacred Seal, and you don't have to upgrade it. For healers, Arcane Latona plus the new Charm specials will give you the best shot unless you're absolutely stacked as a 5-star unit. Even then, units like Hortensia already have magic save, so really Close Transcend will only let her fight with dragons. On the maid side, there are more bulkier mages with low speed archetypes, and they have access to percentier specials now. If you would like to try something for like Takumi, who is more speed focused, Arcane Rex Bolt, Comet, and Pair Up could be a place to start. Now, from the 102nd Squad Assault, you can get Squad A's CX3. This grants plus 6 HP and plus 4 attack and defense. This is the upgraded version of BT, CD, and C-End. It's a nice and simple flat stab booster. That will be it for this year's Valentine's banner. We got a couple rare ranged armor units, and Celine plus Duo Veyle usher in more high-res skills while laying down multiple attacks in a row. As a reminder, there are a ton of banners going on for the anniversary. At the end of the month, we got the A Hero Rises voting gauntlet, which is going to determine another crazy banner lineup. Be sure to spend your orbs wisely. Thank you for watching, good luck with your summons, and next up I'll finally be covering the 10.2 refines. Sorry for the wait, and see you there.